Hey, what's up YouTube? Jeremiah Hersey here. Welcome back to the next PL 300 test prep question. Today we're going to be looking at a question that asks us to optimize the model while giving some requirements. Now, typically when we do these kind of things, we go through an explanation of, what the different options do. Today we're just going to be going straight into the question because it really deals with the difference between hiding and deleting a column. And so the difference is deleting a column removes it from the model so it's no longer available. Hiding a column leaves it with inside of the model, but you just won't be able to see it in the report view. So let's go ahead and get started. The question says you are creating an analytics report that will consume data from the tables shown in the following. So we have a table named sales and a table named employee. It says there is a relationship between the tables. There are no reporting requirements on employee ID and employee photo. You need to optimize the data model. What should you configure for employee ID and employee photo? And our answer choices are down below. So first things first, we need to kind of point out what are the columns that are going to be used between these two tables for a relationship. And so as we look through both of these tables, we have sales ID, the date, a customer ID, amount, employee ID, sales ship date, and a store ID. And down in the employee table, we have an employee ID, first name, last name, and the employee photo. So right off the bat, we can see that both of these tables contain employee ID. So that is going to be the relationship column. So when we talk about modeling inside of Power BI, we always talk about there's going to be a fact table, and this fact table in our case is going to be the sales table. And then we also have dimension tables as well. In this case, the dimension table is going to be the employee. So the employee table is going to be the dimension, and it's going to have a relationship between the two. That relationship that we identified is going to be based on the employee ID. And so that's the relationship column that's going to connect the two tables. And so that is an important column, but typically when we're talking about the relationship column, it's not used for reporting purposes. Its sole purpose is to create the relationships between the tables for filtering to occur. So that way we could filter our sales table based on either the employee first name or the last name. So that takes care of the first part that says there's a relationship between the tables. We've identified it. That's the employee ID. The second part is important because it says there are no reporting requirements on employee ID or the employee photo. But we've already identified that the employee ID is going to be that relationship column. So that's going to need to remain in the model. We cannot delete that employee ID because that creates that relationship for filtering purposes. It says, what should you configure for the employee ID and employee photo? So that's the main question here. How should we configure these two columns? And so it told us that there's no reporting requirements on the employee ID or the employee photo. So because the employee photo is not needed for relationship purposes, we can delete this column. So we can remove employee photo from the model without affecting anything. While we look at employee ID, it is important for the relationship, and so we cannot delete it from the model. So let's look down here at our options. So for employee ID, it says to change the type. So that's changing the data type here. So that's not going to really affect anything. And sorting the employee ID is not going to help us either. So really our two options are, do we delete the employee ID or do we hide it? Now, once again, because the employee ID is the relationship column, we cannot delete it from the model, or the filtering cannot occur from employee table to the sales table. So the correct answer is going to be to hide the employee ID column. And for the employee photo, same options available. In this case, we are going to delete the employee photo column because it is not necessary in the analysis for our report. I want to thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content. I'll see you in the next one.